what's scroll over me? She go like this, do like that. It goes over and I go, I didn't even know it did that. And so if you've called me the last 2 days, I probably have not returned your call. I probably not returned it. I don't know how to use it. I don't. And what it says here, it says having the appearance of godliness, but denying its power. Now this is a good word I'm going to give you guys today. I tell you, I was riding in the car, and this song came on. It's by Casting Crowns, and it's called The Voice of Truth. Anybody heard it? The words are amazing. And they describe so many people that I know. This is the words. It says this. Oh, what I would do to have the kind of faith that it takes to climb out of this boat I'm in onto the crashing waves. To step out of my comfort zone into the realm of the unknown where Jesus is. And he's holding out his hand. But the waves are calling out my name and they're laughing at me. They're reminding me of all the times that I've tried before and failed. The waves, they keep on telling me time and time again, boy, you never win. You'll never win. Oh, what I would do to have the kind of strength it takes to stand before a giant, which is to sling in a stone. Surrounded by the sound of 1,000 warriors that are shaking in their armor, wishing they'd have the strength to stand. But that giant's calling out my name and he laughs at me. He reminds me of all the times I've tried before and failed. The giant keeps on telling me time and time again, boy, you'll never win. You'll never win. But the voice of truth tells me a different story. The voice of truth says, do not be afraid. The voice of truth says, this is for my glory. Out of all the voices calling out to me, I will choose to listen and believe the voice of truth. Isn't that powerful?
Beautiful.
And I just want to make sure that you're aware of a few things. Go to Psalm chapter 18. 5 things I want you to be aware of today. 5 things. This is so embarrassing. Not so much because I'm using glasses, but because they're my wife's. They don't really fit my head. Look there. Somebody trying to call me. Don't know how to answer. Chapter 18, verse 1. This is a song that David wrote, who addressed the words of this song to the Lord on the day when the Lord rescued him from the hand of all his enemies and from the hand of Saul. He said this, I love you, Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock. He's my fortress. He's my deliverer. He's my God, my rock in whom I take refuge. He's my shield and the horn of my salvation. He's my stronghold. I will call upon the Lord who is worthy to be praised, and I am saved from my enemies. Go to Psalm 139. First thing I want you to know, 5 things I want you to know. Number 1, I want you to know this. You were his idea. Number 2, he is with you always. He is always with you. Number 3, his eyes are on you. Number 4, no matter what goes on outside of you, no matter what comes against you, the Bible tells us the greater that he is in you than he that is in the world. And last but not least, you get to decide how close you are. You're as close to the Lord as you want to be. It's not the other way around. It's not the Lord that decides how close he wants to be to you. You get to decide how close you want to be. How far in do you want to go? How much do you want to lay claim to that God that David just described? In Psalm 139, let's go there. It says this, O Lord, you have searched me and you have known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up, you know my thoughts from afar. You search out my path and my lying down and are acquainted with all my ways. Then skip on down to verse 13. For you, God, formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I'm fearfully and I'm wonderfully made. And I tell you, and I'm not being critical, I know that there's women that have had abortions, and they've asked forgiveness for that, and some, they live with that horror and the rest of it. That's a hard thing to get through. But anybody that wants to try to tell you that God doesn't have a problem with abortion, just take them to Psalms 139. It's not just some piece of flesh. It's not just something in there. The Bible says that God knitted you together. Now, it's important to understand this. You know, they asked a group of people, a group of teenagers, actually, they said, if you could change one thing about yourself, what would you change? Overwhelmingly, they came up with the same thing. Then they asked a group of adults the same thing. Overwhelmingly, they had the same answers to teenagers. Now, the things that they would change were different, but this is what they had in common. It was always something physical. Something physical. And I tell you, I do a lot of counseling. I do a lot of working with people. And there are more people that I counsel, that I talk to, that they just struggle with who they are. They don't want to know who they are. They had no idea that they were God's idea. We're all different. Did you know every one of us has different DNA? You all know that, right? We are all different. We are as different as every snowflake is different. We were God's idea. He didn't want to make you to be just like you. He didn't want to make any of us to be just the same. He made every single one. And that's because the God that we serve, He wanted you to be so completely different. It's like He created Jessica, and He created Jessica. Well, then He created Christina. And after He done creating Christina, He said, boy, He goes, how do I top that? So He made it consistent. That's right. But even twins are different. Because we were His idea. The way you look, the color of your hair, the color of your eyes, the way your body is shaped, how tall you are, how short you are, the things you love to do, the things you don't like to do, the foods you like to eat, the songs you like to listen to, all those things were God's idea. You know, I've heard some people talk about how, you know what, if you're not a Christian, then you can't really love. If you're not a Christian, then you know what, your thoughts don't, all those things. The Bible says we were all created in His image. That's the reason why, whether a person knows God or doesn't know God, they're always in search of God, because He's their creator. But if you ever just get a hold of the idea that you were His idea, you were His idea, that means you're not weird. It means you're not strange. So the idea to try to want to be like everybody else, or to compare, is really not a God idea at all. You were His idea. When you just grasp that, that's why there's some people that, man, they live in the details of things. Other people have great ideas. You take the great idea person, they say, I got a great idea, I want to have a party. Let's have a party. Let's have a party on Friday night, it'd be great. The detail person says, party on Friday night. Oh my gosh. There's so much to do between now and Friday night. You got paper plates, you got paper plates, you got cups, you got napkins, you got invitations. Oh my God, who are we going to invite? Where's it going to be? What time is it going to start? All these kinds of things. And finally, this person over here goes, okay, we can do this. We'll do this. And they go, okay, I'll work with you. Next day, they say, hey, we're going to change something. They're going, change something? You can't change something because we're different. Aren't we different? I can walk you in the bedroom or the house of one person, there's certain kind of art, there's certain kinds of things. I can walk in the house of somebody else, it's completely different. It's completely different. And where we really, really blow in the body of Christ, where we really blow it, it's not even so much when we kind of look down on ourselves a little bit. It's when we walk in somebody else's house, somebody else's world, and they're not like us. And we criticize. That just grieves the heart of God. It just grieves the heart of God. Because what you're saying is, you know what, God? I don't think that was a good idea. Because that's what God would say to you. You don't like that? That was my idea. She likes that because that's my idea. I know some people, you can walk in the room, I mean, the bed's made, stuff's put away, the closet isn't just organized, it goes pink shirts, white shirts, red shirts, blue shirts, blue shirts. Not just pants, but long pants, winter pants, brown shoes, white shoes, pink shoes, you know, loafers, all that kind of thing, right? You can go to somebody else's room, and it's like, like something just blew up in there, right? You go to my desk. You go to my desk. I don't think like other people think, because out of sight means out of mind for me. If I put it away, I'll forget to do it. I'll just forget, and then I'll forget until I do that thing that people like me do. Every 6 months we go through, we just clean everything out, and we go, oh my gosh, that's where that thing was, right there, in a file. Put it labeled there. Can't do it. But that was God's idea. And you were God's idea. And so we just need to lighten up a little bit. We need to lighten up. You know, rather than trying to change ourselves, it'd be better to spend our energy saying, God, what did you create me to be? I just want to be that. God didn't create everybody to be pastors or teachers. You read what it says in Corinthians about the different kinds of gifts. You know, God created some people to stand at that door and hand out bulletins and just be greeters. God created some people just because they're so gracious. Some people He created with just this incredible passion just to give, or to serve, or to host people. Some people live very structured lives. Other people live very unstructured lives. They both seem to make it. We just got to quit beating each other up because we're so different. God's idea. He did it. Okay. Next. He is with you. Go to Matthew chapter 28.